Oh, yeah. We're live. We're in it. Are you kidding me? You have to get your volume really high in the beginning to sort of, you know, get yourself going, sort of for your own well-being, for your own mental uh energy. You got to get loud. You got to get excited. I sound like a I sound like a shock jock news host. You got to get going. Welcome. I'm going to tell you about ways you can make people uncomfortable in your life by sharing these opinions. Listen, I came on here not only to say hello to you fine people and to ask how you're doing. I came on here because I have something to talk about. Okay? Because I went to Equinox. I don't know if you know what Equinox is. Let me describe it. Because a gym is a place that you go to. You enjoy yourself for a moment. Hey, how are you? You enjoy yourself. You work out. You get fit. That is not what Equinox is. Equinox is a place. First of all, so let me backstory. I don't usually go to Equinox. Okay, that is not my place. That is not where I'm comfortable. That is not where I thrive. I like a gym with a little bit of grit. I like a gym that's nasty. I like a gym I walk into and at least one person is in Timberland boots and jeans. That's where I like to work out. If no one is wearing jeans in the place you are working out, you are not in a good environment. Okay? Now, I want to say this. The people who work at Equinox, they're great. They're great. They're a little too positive for me, but they're great. I don't have anything wrong with them. I have something wrong with a gym that is too nice. Okay? Someone said on the chat they feel like a creep catching me on YouTube Live and TikTok Live. Just as a brief aside, I went live on TikTok where I cleaned my apartment, and it was some of the most fun I've ever had, and I'm going to keep doing that. That was very nice. I enjoyed that. But that's aside from the point. I don't like a gym that you go. I don't know how you go to Equinox and you're not self-conscious every second, because I'm self-conscious at the YMCA. And I don't know if you know about this. At the YMCA, which is my favorite gym, I don't have a gym membership now. I used to have one to the YMCA. I really liked it. At the YMCA, 3 out of every 10 people there are dying. They are literally on their way out. Okay, 3 out of 10 people at your local YMCA. You can go there if you want. I'll tell you what's happening there, though. This is what's going on at your local YMCA. In the lobby, there are 2 old men and they're gambling. They're playing a card game you couldn't even name, like an unknown card game, and they're gambling pennies, which is the last money either of them have to their name. That's number 1. Number 2, there's a woman there who just got divorced but has not switched her Y membership yet. So she's still on the family account. It is a woman who has just gotten divorced. She's still on the family account. She's praying she doesn't run into her ex-husband there. But she's trying to get in shape because she's trying to get back out there on the dating pool. And God bless her. God bless her. She works at the desk of a municipal maintenance, at like a town's municipal maintenance. She works at kind of like the call center where you call in, you're like, hey, this park has somebody who spray painted every slur known to man. And then she goes, all right, we'll get a guy out there. That's what she does for work. You have her. You have a guy that is so jacked he can't go to a private gym. He's so jacked. There's one guy at every YMCA who's jacked in a way that people aren't jacked in other gyms. In other gyms, people get jacked in a way that's like aesthetic, and you'll go, damn, that's a strong guy. Kind of like a guy who could be in the WWE. That's how guys get jacked in other gyms, not the YMCA. And the YMCA, everybody has kind of like a normal to soft body, of which I'm one of those people, right? I have a little bit better than a soft body. I don't know why I'm saying that. I don't know what. Listen, not to brag. I'm slightly better than soft body. There's one guy in there though who takes all of the muscular gains of all the people there and somehow inherits them himself. This is a guy who will not come in gym gear usually. He'll, in fact, you ever see those guys that are so jacked they wear four shirts? Just because no, if anyone saw how jacked they were, it would ruin their day. That guy. That guy can't exist anywhere but the YMCA because it's the only place that can't kick him out for his behavior. He's screaming at himself. He's working through all of his anger problems. He's working through all of his philosophical problems at the bench press. That guy's at the YMCA. There's there's Naked Dad. Naked Dad is pretty self-explanatory. It's a dad who walks around nude constantly at the gym. He's in the locker room, but sometimes he leaves the locker room. But you still get like he's clothed when he leaves the locker room. Obviously, he's wearing clothing when he leaves the locker room, but you get a vibe that he's just kind of there to flaunt. He's just kind of there to swagger about. He wants to be a man around town, which by the way, is there anything Naked Dad is always in the sauna. Taylor just added something to the chat where they said Naked Dad. If there is a sauna, Naked Dad is there. Naked Dad, uh, Naked Dad loves the sauna. Naked Dad loves being a guy who will always almost start an exercise and then will go up to other people at the gym and act like he's the mayor. This guy, Naked Dad, is the mayor of the gym, right? When he's not naked in the locker room, he's walking up to everybody. He's going like, "Oh, hey, how you? Oh, what's up?" And no one wants him there. There's nothing worse than a guy like because if you're a fixture at whatever your local community garden, if you're a fixture at your local tennis courts, whatever the place is in your town, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But there is something very bad and wrong and disturbing about someone who clearly wants to be that. I hope I'm making sense here. Let me know if I am. If a guy is very naturally gregarious and is very like sort of, he'll go up to you, he'll be like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like that, that's fine. But then there's a guy who wants to be that guy. And there's a huge difference between those two things. The guy who wants to be that guy is a worm, is a snake, has delusions of being of like power in some of one of the saddest systems ever, which is a like essentially public gym. Which, by the way, I don't want to get too I don't want to get too political. Um, we can't all be that guy. Exactly. We can't all be that guy. I don't want to get too political, but I think that we should nationalize the YMCA. Have the YMCA just be like a public gym for all. Because it is that when you see the people at the YMCA, it's like they don't have they can't have memberships. And that's not I don't want to sound classist or insulting to those people, but they they're wearing clothes from like the 1920s. There's no way they have a membership there. But they like the people there are just very nice and they let them in and God bless them. But I think that we should just make the YMCA a public resource. That's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is if you and this exists in restaurants big time. Because everybody has a delusion where it's like, I'm the cool guy that everybody knows and likes. And when I show up to a place, I want everyone to know my name. I want to know everybody's name. Nothing wrong with knowing people's names. There's a problem with wanting people to respect you for nothing and for no reason. That's just how I feel about the situation. But anyway, let's keep going with this because this is very interesting. There is the guy who just graduated high school and has not connected with anyone from his college, so he just lifts weights. Now, this guy is not as big as the guy who's the biggest guy in the gym. He might start getting big, but his subsequent eating disorder is stopping him from making the huge gains, right? This is a guy I'm very near and dear with. This is a guy I'm relatively close with. I've known this guy many times. I just want you to know something. If you know a guy who just started going to college, he might be a freshman in college or a sophomore in college, and every time he is home, or every time, or maybe he goes to a local college, like a college near his hometown, he goes to the hometown YMCA too much, give him a hug, because he's having trouble making friends. And if you go away from college, I've talked about this before, if you go away from college, for college, I'm sorry, those people will be at the college gym too much. And I think that they should. This is a controversial opinion, and the lifting community is going to get mad at me for this. But let me tell the lifting community this. I respect you. I love you. I think if you want to be as big as a cloud, not only do I think you should do that, I think it is beautiful, because our bodies should look the way we want them to look. And if looking as big as a cloud affirms whatever is going on in here, I'm pointing to my head, whatever's going on in there, God bless you. That's great. I have a problem with the fact that gyms become this refuge of male people who guys who have trouble making friends, because it was for me, right? I would just go to my gym. I couldn't make friends, so I would go to the gym for 4 hours a day. Once you check into the gym, you swipe in. There should be a 2-hour time limit, and then someone should go up to you and not force you to leave the gym, but they should offer you something else to do. After you spend 2 hours at your college gym, someone should approach you and go, "Would you like to do the outdoor? Would you like to be a member of the outdoor club?" Right? Taylor in the chat, let me talk to you for a minute, Taylor. Taylor just said you're describing me and it hurts. We all go through phases of locking ourselves in the gym. And for men, there's a term called gym cell, but it can happen to women too. There's no gender on this. We all go through phases like that. You never want to be in a position where you have the best body possible and you can't share it with anyone. So I did this. I got in like the best shape of my life when I was in the like the saddest point in my life. I was going to the gym the most, right? So gym became this place. It gave me something to do, which I do appreciate the gym for that. But what it really did was it hurt me, because if I would have been forced to like join a club of some sort. It's like, that's why there should be more lifting clubs or whatever. I don't know how to solve this. I don't know what to do about this, Taylor. You and me have this problem together, but just know, if you're at the gym for 2 hours, you're working out for 2 hours, and you want to go for another 2 hours. There's nothing wrong with that in theory, but in practice, there may be something going on that you need to talk to someone about. Taylor says you can't keep sitting in the sauna for 2 hours. 2 hours is a little much. You're talking to a person of extremes, by the way. I've had to force myself into moderation throughout my life. Moderation. Okay, here's the thing about moderation. Moderation is looked down upon in this country. And I'm not saying that to be hyperbolic. I mean, literally, if you are a truly, like, a person who does things in moderation, you go out, you drink 1 beer, you eat a normal amount of food, you eat you work out a decent amount. You don't not work out, and you don't do a fucking Tough Mudder every other day, right? Because that's not necessarily working. Working out can just be, you go to the gym for 30, 45 minutes, like a normal person, We need to start appreciating those people. We need to appreciate people with moderation. All right, because I see all these Instagram hype up videos with guys. Oh, look at this guy. He ran 100 miles in a day. Well, there's something going on in his mind, unfortunately. I'm not saying you can't appreciate that guy. That's very motivational. And if it motivates you, seeing a guy run 100 miles in a day, great. But you know what motivates me? A guy who is able to get himself to the gym and then not destroy his body through working out too much because he has mental problems. Because that's what I do and that's what I have. I want to see that guy's video. I want to see the hype video where it's like dun dun dun. Have you ever dreamed of being something more than you actually are? Dun dun dun. Have you ever thought you could achieve things that you've only imagined? The words don't mean anything that I'm saying, and neither they don't mean anything in the hype videos that I'm talking about. Dun dun dun. Go to the gym and work out moderately for 45 minutes. Boom boom boom. That's what I want to. That would get me so hyped. Because that's what I can't do. That's what we as a country can't do. Is like we think it's like motivational, which it can be. It can be motivational to see somebody do something completely insane with their bodies, right? Doing 2 backflips in a row. Crazy. That's great. If that motivates you to get out of bed, if you're not getting out of bed, watch it. If seeing someone ice bath for 2 hours and then running a marathon motivates you, great. But what you don't see and why we have so many problems is you never see a video of a person doing something moderately in a healthy way and going, yes, that person, that's good. What they're doing is good. You never see those people get their just. You never see those people get the flowers they deserve, which they do because they're doing something sustainable. They're doing something that you can sustain throughout a lifetime, which is the better thing to do, right? Because if you're doing a Tough Mudder, that's great. That's awesome. That's whatever. Like, awesome. Hey, good for you. That's not sustainable. You can't do one every day. If you do, good luck with your knees. I want to see people who are moderate get enough credit. If you're sober, that's awesome. If you party super hard, great. Whatever you want to do. But I have never seen someone get complimented or somebody be praised for having 1 or 2 beers and then stopping and getting a ride home. Never seen that person praised. If for some reason, if you party super hard, people are like, hell yeah, that guy rocks. He's fun. If you don't drink, it's like, hell yeah, you have whatever. You're able to control your greater urges. And that I'm not disparaging those people. I am speaking up for the people in the middle. And I'm not talking about politically, right? We're not talking about politics here. I'm talking about literally people who practice moderation. All right? It's the same thing on TV shows. You have like that TV show with whatever the people have 20 kids, and it's like, oh, look at it's people are I'm not calling those people freaks, but I'm saying people watch that like a freak show. People aren't watching that going like, oh, this is awesome. Like, what's happening? No, they're like, whoa, this is. Let's see a show where it's people who had 2 kids and then stopped, and they're happy with their children. John, I'm going to stop the rant real quick. John just entered the chat and said, "I have no idea why I'm here, but your videos are funny." Hey, John, I appreciate you very much. I implore you to stay. I'm saying some very intelligent, very powerful things right now. I'm not actually. This is a dumb point to make, right? And I don't expect anyone to resonate with it. But I do think that there are huge, huge issues with only either. We know that politically. That's the thing. We know politically there is a huge issue with only showing the far spectrums of both sides because people over here are going to look at the far end of people over here and go, that's what they're like, when really that's not what they're like. That's not what they're like. That's what their craziest people are like. If you judge a group by its craziest people, you will always be able to paint that whole group as being crazy, and you will never get a real view of what that group is. That's not to say you're going to agree with that group if you don't look at the craziest people in it, but it'll make it easier, right? So if you look at exercise, every motivational video I see of exercise is a guy benching 500 pounds and deadlifting 1,000 pounds. And there's no video of a guy benching like 135 a couple of times, just a few times, and then going, I could have done more, but I didn't want to push myself too hard. That guy is a genius, and we don't appreciate him at all. Yeah, that's true. John made a good point about lives that, we won't go into here. But anyway, I hope that wasn't too much, and I hope that didn't tangent off too much. But I'm someone who has truly, like, in the past, I've gotten much better at it over the last couple of years, but in the past, I have truly, like, been on both extremes of, like, completely not doing anything and not exercising at all, and being like happy about it and like bragging, like, yeah, I never exercise, exercising stupid, da 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 da. And then when I started exercising when I was like 14, 15, I just went crazy with it. Because everybody was telling me how cool it was to whatever work out for 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, to run for however many miles I was running, 15 miles with no warm up, or like, lifting, and then like doing all this stuff that is functionally bad for your body, but that no one really has a explanation. Because if you tell someone, oh, well, that's bad for your body, there's all these people that basically go like, oh, like, oh, you're just hating on them because they're succeeding. You're just hating on them because they're doing something you can't do. It's like, sure, but we're getting bad examples here. We should have examples of people that are doing like the moderate amount of exercise, because that's what I needed, and that's what would have made me healthy. John said, I used to follow Fat Meets Fire for exactly that reason. He's losing all his weight again, and it's boring, quote unquote, because he's moderate. Losing weight slowly, like 1 pound a week. But he's clearly right. Exactly, John. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, I think media has really destroyed our minds in that way, because a pinch of that sort of thing is good. Like a pinch of the like hyper motivational, you should be motivated. You should see people that are exceeding in ways that you could never dream of, right? You need a pinch of that. You need a pinch of Michael Jordan documentary, right? Every now and again, a Michael Jordan documentary is good because it fires you up, right? It gives you motivation. But you can overdose on that, and I think it is leading to a generation of like young men. Like it's a small portion of young men, but there's a generation of young men that are destroying their bodies with too much exercise and not enough rest because of this hyper intensity mindset that we've given them. And it's awful, and it's not good. There's professional athletes, and it's like, sure, if you are a professional athlete or are trying to be a professional athlete, you need to do that. You need to destroy your body in certain ways. Like there's going to be a level of, but even then, even then you have to take care of it. But it's like there are guys who are bankers who are having to get ACL, MCL surgery on their knees because of jujitsu. And it's like, listen, I know you love jujitsu. I know you're having fun. But you talk to some of those guys, and what they will say is, yeah, I shouldn't have been rolling that hard. I shouldn't have been training that hard. There was a middle ground that I was not reaching. And if we had examples of that, if we had examples of moderation, I don't think we would have that kind of problem. Anyway, that's why I like the YMCA. Bringing it full circle. The YMCA is a great gym. Yeah, TikTok also. TikTok is also like showing you these people doing these insane workouts and not showing you the fucking steroids. that they are taking. And a lot of those people are taking a lot of supplements that you don't know about that is really helping their fitness journey, right? Their fitness journey. And the other issue is I would like to work out in bootcut jeans. Taylor online just asked if I work out in bootcut jeans. I would work out in bootcut. I would also work out in like husky. Do you remember when you were a kid? When I was a kid, I would wear husky jeans because that's how they were nice to you, is they called you husky, which is just a synonym for fat. I don't know what marketing strategist was like, let's just call the kids husky, because I it didn't make my feelings any less hurt. I like the YMCA because it's a gym. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The YMCA is not a gym where you work out to become jacked. The YMCA is a gym where you work out to stay alive. And that's what's really important. Yeah, guys' jeans were called husky. What were larger girls' jeans? Well, women are smart because they just use numbers, right? And it's like, sure, it can feel bad having a higher number or a bigger number than another woman, but I think that it feels better than like quadruple XL. Do you know what I mean? Those four X's I think really hurt. What, like XX, and then it's like and then the third X kind of hits you, and then the fourth X really kind of makes you shudder when I'm sure when people we just need to. I mean, there is like a big quadruple husky. There is a thing where people will always complain when you suggest changing the name of anything because it's like that's how it's always been. Like, well, that's the way. But it's like I don't think that people should have to go to a store and go, "Can I get the husky jeans?" I don't know. I just feel like self-esteem wise, that isn't good for you. There's probably just a better way to go about saying those things. I just don't know what it is. And I don't propose to have the answers. All right. I just go on live and talk to you nice people. And you know what? That's refreshing. Isn't it refreshing these days? This is such a tangent, and I'm sorry if I'm losing any of you. But it's so refreshing to hear somebody who's kind of just like, yeah, I don't really know. We have like such a level of certainty because of, whatever algorithm is coming our way. And like we read things in such a certain tone that it kind of bleeds into us. But I'm very much like that for 90% of the things I do. And then when you're certain for the 10%, people will tend to listen to you more. That's just my opinion. Wait, what sucked is when I got fat enough for the lady size numbers to reset, so an XL is a 1. Wait, I'm sorry. And this is completely due to my ignorance. I don't understand anything about women's sizing. What what does that mean? So an XL is a 1 in women's sizing. This is I also couldn't tell you. I remember Oh, XL is a 1, XXL is a 2 in women's size. Oh, because it resets. Okay. Oh, I got you. That's interesting that the women see guys, we just keep adding X's, I guess. I don't really know if I don't know anything about clothing in general. Uh See, but that is kind of nicer. I don't, but you said it sucks, so maybe it didn't make you feel good. But guys, we'll just add X's until the cows come home. I don't know if there's a level of X where it resets and then it like Roman numerals where it just becomes another letter. It's like a Z. That's another bra sizes are letters, and I wonder if the X changes eventually. They should do men's shirt sizes like women's bra sizes. I just feel like instead of just adding 1,000 X's when the sizes go up. Also, not to shame anyone where that is your size. I don't uh yeah, I have no idea why bra sizes are letters too, but it's silly and fun, right? I would love a dude walking around being like, "Yeah, I'm a triple D shirt." I don't know why. I don't know why that makes me so happy, but I love the idea of a guy being like, I'm a double D t-shirt." Yeah, me, I'm a double D t-shirt. You got any I'm sorry, no, I can't fit a C shirt. Do you have a double D shirt? It tickles me, folks. That's why you say stuff, cuz it triples me. And then no one is a 36 triple B. Why'd they tap out a D? I think the sizes do go. I don't know. That's a great question. I have potato vibes in a good way. Someone just asked me if I'm from Idaho. I'm not. No, I'm not from Idaho, but I would love to go there. I've missed a lot of states uh in that area of the country. I've been to a lot of states on this side. I'm on the East Coast right now. Been to a lot of or I'm on the West Coast right now. I've been to a lot of states on the East Coast but I'd love to see more of that. I went to Des Moines not too long ago. I never thought I'd be in Des Moines, but I loved it. Appleton, Wisconsin too. I went to Appleton, Wisconsin, both to do stand-up comedy. It was lovely. Listen, you don't it's not see these are the issues. You're saying stuff like not to correct your language, but you're saying stuff like some brands go up in bra size, but you're not gifted enough. Listen, if I'm sure some women who have like whatever double E tits or however it is, I'm sure they have a good life. Their life a lot of the times is hell, and they have to get breast reductions because it destroys their back. We live. I mean, this goes with the moderation conversation we were having before, and guys are like this with dick size too. Where listen, there's nothing wrong with having a sizable hog, but if you asked most men what would your ideal dick size be? I'll bet a lot of them, like a lot of men, especially men who are like chronically online, would be like fucking 12 inches, 13 at least. And it's like, I wonder if it's the same with maybe not, but maybe yes. If you ask them like what their ideal tit size would be, they'd be like fucking. And it's like these are cartoon numbers we're throwing around here. We're talking about Bugs Bunny tit size here, okay? This is the wildest live I've ever done, but this is a fun one. I love taking a swig of water triumphantly, like it's alcohol. Just, hey, we're having a lot of fun here, aren't we? But yeah, you get over it as you grow up and like start experiencing life and realize like how human beings operate and how standards actually work and all that shit. But I think a lot of people, they're maybe it's being stunted, or maybe you just kind of live in this world of feeling like you're not enough, which is obviously very sad. But I think a lot of people have very cartoonish conceptions of standards, especially as they relate to beauty, that are just silly. And it's like it's inhuman. I don't mean that some humans do fit those standards that we're talking about, right? There's gonna be a woman with like the biggest hits of all time. But to think that as any sort of a baseline and not an outlier is ridiculous because humans we all fall a lot of time in the middle category. Everybody has stuff that they go more and everyone has stuff they go less in, but I don't know. All in all, it does make me very sad, and I think we're moving more and more into fantasy land when it comes to, like, bodies and body types and all that shit, and it is, like, a little bit disappointing. 'Cause it makes me really sad for kids and, younger and younger kids are getting kind of programmed in this way, and they're getting, like they're seeing all these, I don't know. I hope I'm not going too far off the beaten path on that one, but that's just how I feel. Any hoozle, this is a fun one. Anyone got anything else to throw in the chat? I had a lot of fun with this, and we had very good additions through the chat. I do appreciate. I think the live is based mostly like whether or not a live is good is based mostly on the chats. Uh, my Thanksgiving was great. I went to a casino and then I watched I watched my girlfriend's family argue, which is I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but hey, it is what it is. Ooh, this is okay. I don't know what the okay. Do you think there's something wrong with having preemptively tempered ambitions? Like if I could choose my dream body, it would be Chris Bumstead. It wouldn't be Chris Bumstead. It's young Charlton Heston and Zach Braff. No, that's fucking awesome, dude. No, those like I think here's what I have like ambitions like body goals are fine. Having goals with your body. I was a personal trainer. I still do train a couple of people here and there. There's nothing wrong with having like body goals. There is something I think wrong with going I want this person's body because it is like you're if you're using that person's body as like okay well I'd like a this person has a big chest I'd like a bigger chest I really don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's a lot of people that would say I am wrong and that there can and there can't be. I'm not gonna like put any like whatever uh I'm not gonna pathologize you in any way. But as far as body goals go, you should just know how hard it is to get to where you're because if your body goal is Chris Bumstead, who I believe was Mr. Olympia, that's gonna be most of your life or a huge portion of your life is and it's like, is that worth it? That's a great question. Is it gonna be worth it for you? I wanted that too. I mean, when I was in college, again, I was like killing myself because I wanted to look like whatever Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. And it's like, hey, I didn't have the supplement money, if you catch my drift, to get there. But number two, it's just not worth it just wasn't worth it for me. I wasn't gonna be in a Marvel movie anytime soon. And it's like people don't really give a shit. So if it's something you actually internally want, great. But like you said, Charlton Heston or Zach Braff, like, yeah, no one looks at those guys and goes, "Oh, look at those guys, like gross." It's like, no, they have like good bodies. Those guys have good bodies. I heard a conversation where people said Daniel Craig wasn't aging well or was aging poorly, and I'm like, that is offensive to me. To suggest that Daniel Craig is not aging well. He is in his 50s with a six pack. We gotta calm down with those sorts of things. Yeah, and again, I think that we can, obviously we're a demented country when it comes to our relationships with our bodies and what we want our bodies to look like as opposed to what they actually look like. So I don't want to go that I don't want to say like it's completely healthy to have these, desires for your body where it's like I'm not going to say it's healthy. I'm not going to say it's unhealthy either. I'm not going to pathologize anything. If you're saying you want the body you had 5 years ago back, that's eh, I don't know your relationship with your body, so I'm not going to make any standards. But it's like I would just shy away from being like, well, you look like you look now, you know, and base your body goals on the future, not the past. I think it's like think of something that maybe you'd like to do, or something that would give you a level of comfort, or you know, whatever. I don't know. I've just been down the road of like body dysmorphia and eating disorders and all that shit. I know it's like gross to hear that from a guy, and it's like, oh, whatever. I'm just over it, and I think that talking about that stuff is more important than not because I think a lot more people, and like obviously women go through it at probably a higher rate than men. But I also think women talk about it more, and there's maybe more stuff on it with women, and I don't think there's a lot of stuff specific because I think guys go through there's women go through a very specific kind of body dysmorphia and eating disorder thing, and I think guys go through a very specific body disorder, but I don't think there's as much stuff on guys, and I think, like, it would be nice to have some stuff out there for guys. So, as much as I can talk about that stuff, I'm happy to. Um Yeah, exactly. If I look at like when I had my best body again, it ain't great. It ain't a great time in my life. So there's nothing wrong with that. Wow, we went for 40 minutes. This is great. This is really fun. I loved doing this. I will do it again soon. Thank you guys for joining the live. I'm gonna the live will be posted if you didn't see the whole thing and you want to. And I think you should be able to see the chat after I post it too. I hope so. Let me know in the comments. If there's any way I can improve this, let me know. I can fix the camera's kind of bad right now. I think I just need a new camera or whatever. But thank you all. Really appreciate it. I hope you all have a good one.